Today we journey to the boob tube to talk about Whiplash, 2014 film. Pretty good stuff. Jordan's got some stuff he's going to cover about it right off the bat here, just to get us started nice and warmed up, give you that warm and tingly feeling.
Yeah, so when we first started doing the album reviews, we knew eventually we would branch out into other forms of entertainment, TV, movies, books, video games, everything. Everything will eventually be covered.
Can't wait for books, man. It's going to be like a book.
So, the first movie, we're doing it just like the albums. We suggest a movie that the other one watches. So the first one that I suggested that Seth watch was the movie Whiplash. As Seth said, it came out in 2014. It was rated R for strong language throughout and sexual references. The length, it is 1 hour and 46 minutes. Doesn't really feel like it though. It feels very short. It was directed by Damien Chazelle. The notable cast includes Miles Teller, J.K. Simmons, Melissa Benoist, Paul Reiser, Chris Mulkey, Nate Long, and Austin Stowell.
J.K. Simmons does a great job in this movie.
So let's see, a little bit of trivia. The entire film was shot in 19 days.
Huh.
Miles Teller actually plays the drums and has since he was 15, but he had to hold the drumsticks in an unconventional way for the film that he was not trained with, so he would get blisters that would burst while filming. The blood you see on the drum set during most of the scenes is real.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
This is also the lowest grossing movie to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture.
Really?
Yeah. So Miles Teller's character, Andrew, appears in every scene, and he is the only character to appear in every scene.
He's a little shit throughout the entire movie.
The drum solo at the end of the film lasts for 5 minutes.
It's a really good solo, too. Pretty fucking impressive.
And J.K. Simmons suffered 2 cracked ribs while filming the scene where Miles Teller tackles him on the stage.
I was about to ask, is this the scene where he gets tackled?
So, what we're going to do, I'm just going to go through the plot, kind of like a synopsis, and we can go through and you can give your thoughts on everything that happens.
Oh, I'm ready.
So, it starts out
you
with...
and your Dockers.
Andrew Neiman is a first-year student at the prestigious Schaefer Conservatory in New York City, hoping to one day fulfill his childhood goals in reaching legacies like his idol, Buddy Rich. Andrew is recruited by Terrence Fletcher, conductor and band leader of the Schaefer Conservatory Studio Band, to play in his ensemble as an alternate for core drummer Carl Tanner. However, Andrew quickly discovers that Fletcher is relentlessly strict, ruthless, and abusive to his students. Fletcher physically and verbally attacks Andrew after he fails to keep the tempo during the ensemble's rehearsal of Hank Levy's titular piece, Whiplash. Determined to impress Fletcher, Andrew practices until his hands bleed. In a jazz competition after their first set, Andrew misplaces Tanner's sheet music.
Uh-oh!
When called for their second set, Tanner could not play without the music, but Andrew claims he can perform Whiplash from memory.
He knows it by heart.
After a successful performance, Fletcher promotes Andrew to core drummer for the studio band, but he also enlists Ryan Connolly, the core drummer from a lower-level ensemble within the conservatory. After Fletcher promotes Connolly to core, Andrew continues practicing to his limit, breaking up with his girlfriend Nicole to give him more time to do so. After a grueling 5-hour session with Tanner and Connolly for the core spot, Andrew finally earns the spot. On the way to their next competition, the bus Andrew is riding on breaks down. Also, spoiler alert, obviously. So the bus he's on breaks down. He rents a car but arrives late and realizes he left his sticks at the rental office. After convincing an impatient Fletcher to wait for him, Andrew races back and retrieves them, but is in a car accident being hit by a truck on the way back. Bloody and injured, he crawls from the wreckage and runs to the theater, arriving just as the ensemble takes stage. Andrew struggles to play the song Caravan due to his injuries, and Fletcher halts the performance to dismiss Andrew. Enraged, he attacks Fletcher on stage, but is pulled away by security and then expelled from Schaefer. That's the scene where J.K. Simmons cracked his ribs.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Very memorable moment in the movie, actually.
At his father's request, Andrew meets a lawyer representing the parents of Sean Casey, a former student of Fletcher who hanged himself out of depression and anxiety caused by Fletcher's abuse. Sean's parents want to see Fletcher forbidden from teaching. Andrew agrees to testify as an anonymous witness, and Fletcher is fired. Following his expulsion, Andrew has abandoned drumming and is working in a restaurant. Andrew meets Fletcher at a jazz club where he has been working as a pianist, who defends his teaching methods by stating he only wanted students to push themselves to become their absolute best, referencing the story of Charlie Parker's rise to fame. He invites Andrew to perform at his band with the JVC Jazz Festival, assuring him that they would be playing songs that Andrew had performed during his time at Schaefer. Andrew hesitantly accepts. Andrew then calls Nicole and invites her to the performance, but she does not express enthusiasm in going as she is in a new relationship. Andrew arrives at JVC and the band goes on stage. Just before they begin their first piece, Fletcher reveals that he knows Andrew is the one who testified against him.
You fucked up, pal.
As revenge, leads the band with a song Andrew does not know, and for which he has not been given the sheet music. Andrew walks off the stage humiliated, but then returns to the stage and cuts off Fletcher's introduction to their next piece by playing Caravan, cueing in the band himself. Fletcher is initially angered, but resumes conducting. After Fletcher cues to the last beat of the piece, Andrew continues playing into an extended solo. At the end of the solo, Fletcher nods in approval of Andrew's performance before cueing the band's finale. And the film ends.
Yeah, credits roll at the end.
So, these are just some general questions that we can ask each other at the end of each. Who was your favorite character in the movie?
Gonna be Fletcher.
Fletcher? Okay.
Yeah, he was the best character in the movie.
Who was your least favorite character in the movie?
Andrew Neiman.
So the two main characters.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your favorite favorite scene?
My favorite scene is the scene where he is counting him down and asking him if he's rushing or dragging. He like smacks the shit out of him.
That was real smacks, by the way, too.
You could hear it.
It was real smacks.
He was like, ow, stop it, Dad.
Let's see. What, do you have any favorite quotes from the movie? If you can remember any.
Honestly, no.
So my favorite quote is a quote by Fletcher, and it's when he's talking to Andrew after he's been fired, and they're in that like jazz club where he's playing the piano, and he says there are no words more dangerous in the English language than good job. And like it's said in a way that you're not supposed to like that quote. But in reality, I think it is, just because the deeper meaning is just like the people who want the best for you are always going to be the ones to push you.
Exactly.
And that's all it means. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool line. There are no two more dangerous words in the English language than good job.
Yeah, and you know, it kind of makes you think in a land fueled by mediocrity. You think you'd see a lot more people like breaking the mold,
Yeah.
or at least trying to break the mold in some way. But it's just a lot of stuff is just rehashed.
So
or not really thought out very well.
Yeah. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give the movie?
I'd probably give it about an 8.5, 8.5.
8.5 out of 10?
I thought the ending was too abrupt. I didn't like the ending just because of how abrupt it was.
And not the drum solo, just the fact that at the end of the drum solo, the movie ends with...
Yeah.
Okay.
Just nothing. Well, I feel like should have been a little bit more dialogue between the two to show that everything had been patched up or something.
So would you say that is your least favorite part of the movie? The very end?
Yeah, the very end is my least favorite part. My favorite part is going to be towards the end.
I thought it was the slapping.
Oh, yeah, slapping. But hold on.
Do you have another favorite part or a part that you just remembered?
Well, yeah, now that I'm reading back on it, it's going to be near the end. I'm going to have to reevaluate this because the solo at the end where he's like cueing everybody in.
Yeah.
And basically just like, fuck you, sir.
Yep.
You thought you were gonna screw me over, not today. And he's just, I like that part the most, honestly.
Okay.
The slap would have to be my second favorite part because it's very memorable. It's a very memorable part. And I find it kind of crazy now that I'm looking back on the movie too, that he drove someone to kill themselves.
Yeah. So I didn't even pick that up the first time I watched it. It was the second time I watched it when I realized, the Sean Casey guy they're talking about was a former student that killed himself because of the abuse.
And do you remember? Do you remember when it first happened, or whenever he first found out about it? I guess he played some music for the class, and he was like,
yeah.
He was like,
yeah.
That was a student of mine, Sean Casey. He passed away recently or something like that. He didn't really go into too much detail, but he was like, he's an amazing player.
Yep.
And I was just like, oh man, that sucks. And then
you realize later in the movie that it's like, he died because of you.
A lot of guilt behind your eyes.
It was like the first practice that Andrew went to that happened, wasn't it?
Yeah, because he called him the squeaker.
Yeah.
We got a squeaker, ladies and gentlemen.
It's I will say, I'm not one to give, trigger warnings or whatever, but if you have experienced, especially, verbal abuse, this movie might be a rough watch for you.
Yeah, because this guy's just ruthless. But hey, it worked.
Yeah, I think
doesn't work for everybody. It's a method that won't work for everybody.
Yeah, I think it's a great movie, which is obviously why I suggested it. But now it is your turn to suggest a movie to me. What would you suggest?
You might have to rent it.
Okay.
Black Mass with Johnny Depp.
Black Mass.
I think you'll love that movie, dude.
Johnny Depp. Okay. What a time to react to a Johnny Depp movie.
Yeah, I just realized that. Oh, God. Hey, actually, it's perfect timing.
We'll still do it. Okay. Well, join us next time, and we will be discussing, along with music, we will also be discussing Black Mass.
Let us into your ear holes. We're gonna get in your ear holes. We're gonna fit in your ear holes. It's gonna feel great when we're in your ear holes.